Good evening, everybody. I don't want to take much time from you. I'll take 5 minutes, but I have already given my handouts. The presentation, actually this is an analysis. As an academic, I'm a lecturer in international trade law in many countries in the world. So I thought of doing an analysis of MCC eligibility criteria, what is in the books and what is actually happening. But still, since it's running time, I like to skip whatever the things said by the honorable speakers. Apart from that, I'll speak about the rest. So by now you know what is MCC and what are the bilateral agreements. So I don't want to harp on that. But the thing is, the basic thrust of the MCC is what they say is that it is to help poor and developing countries in their development endeavors, right? This is a separate entity from the US Department and USAID. MCC provides grants for eligible countries irrespective of political considerations. That is what they say, right? As per my analysis, actually, I did a small qualitative analysis academically, but still I don't want to give the methods and methodologies since we are running time. So there's a specific granting procedure. I have given that in my handouts. So MCC is the first grant agreement that requires parliamentary approval. So they specifically mention about the parliament approval means the ratification. It's also described by the honorable speakers. So we'll go to countries which have signed the MCC. So when it comes to Asian countries, Armenia, Indonesia, Nepal, Mongolia, Philippines. Now Sri Lanka is remaining. So we'll check with, actually there are some more countries, but I don't want to mention them. You can go through the, my handouts. But they are having 16 elements to consider about the eligibility, right? So we'll go through the actual donor behavior first before the impacts faced by the other countries. Actual donor behavior is, there are 16 criterion of eligibility for the MCC. So diverting the contemporary behavior of the donor fundings, this MCC it's not hypothetical. We have to consider whether this MCC is having a military purpose. I'll endorse and I'll prove by way of my analysis that it's completely a military purpose. So the act means the Foreign Assistance Act specifically says no assistance is to be provided to any communist country, right? So eligibility criteria in the books are civil liberties, political rights, rule of law, control of corruption, so on and so forth. There are 16 criteria. So we'll see what is actually happening. Now, as per this MCC budget justification, now see transportation 25%, budget is allocated 27%, governance and land 5%, energy 15%, agriculture 16%, water 11%. That means major percentage goes to air, land and water. See, that's why I wanted this presentation to be made with the projector. And also MCC compact priorities by region. Now see, Sub-Saharan Africa and Middle East Africa, North Africa, they are the people who are getting more funding. That means majority of the lands are targeted by the MCC. So for this research, of course, I have done a Alessinia dollar method. The academics will know all this. As per that method, which is endorsed by Catherine Good in 2011, military assistance has a positive impact. So it's completely a military based agreement. So MCC, she further says, endorsing my analysis, MCC's explicit criteria are new. How much this finding applies in practice will be addressed in the conclusion. So even though they talk about rule of law, good governance, this and that, the main target is the military. It's a military purpose. So I'll run through everything. I wanted to discuss many things since and also they are targeting countries, US voting friendly countries, right? This is the donor behavior. And countries we are military allies. I'll show you a very interesting section, Section 101B of Foreign Assistance Act, America, USA, the Congress. It is the sense of Congress that in the administration of these funds, great attention and consideration should be given to those countries which share the view of the United States on the world crisis and which do not, as a result of US assistance, divert their own economic resources to military or propaganda efforts. See how specific it is. Supported by Soviet Union or Communist China and directed against the United States or against other countries receiving aid under this act. So it's specific. So the findings for military assistance confirm that the MCC's explicit criteria is new. So I will skip all these slides. It's prominent that MCC goes to a new direction. So I'll show you some peculiar exemptions. Ineligible countries for no reason. Why? We have to check. Somalia and Zimbabwe are ineligible because of defaults on loans in certain circumstances. So that's not in the criteria. And there are a couple of awkward disqualifications like Burma for trafficking, human trafficking, and contrastingly, bad rules of law countries also get funds. So, like Afghanistan, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Mexico. So, it's very awkward. Why? And the best part of it is, most of the countries which are declined by giving aid are countries where they have proper, strong foreign policies. You will be able to, read that. I have given it very clearly, along with a couple of tables. So these are the tables. So if you read through my table, you will understand why the reason was, because I have properly tabled that. And lessons from others. See, the countries which have already signed the agreement, are facing all these, as the honorable speaker said. Madagascar. In other words, this is one of the statements of one of the articles, research articles actually. I went through a lot of research articles, 2 days were spent. In other words, national sovereignty, security and policies have been sold out. It is specifically said that it's sold out. Philippines. Administration's deadly war on drug campaign has declined the donation. Ghana's existing bilateral compact focused on the power sector. The move came in response to the government of Ghana's decision. So Ghana can't take any other brand. Ghana can't get any other private parties suffering. So we'll see the corruption index of Armenia. So Armenia has already signed the agreement. So see the corruption, not only Armenia, actually I have a couple of countries, but Armenia specifically, see. Post MCC drift, corruption is high. So their main objective is reducing the corruption, but it has become high. Books says like that, but actually this is what happens. So this is another corruption index. I have a couple of countries, many countries. So even those countries, the corruption index is being increased. That means MCC has nothing to do with corruption. And Malawi, it is found out that huge environmental impact is faced by Malawi. So these things are not taken into account. No environment impact assessments. So this is all about Malawi. And Senegal, water rights. Unfulfilled development goals, unanswered social and economic impact. All say about social and economic impact. So if the MCC's objective is enhance the economy, what has happened to the other countries which have signed the agreement? So we have to think of that. Senegal land law, they have lost their land rights. It says about that. Nepal, it went to the first stage, but second stage, of course, Nepal itself, they don't want to sign the agreement. Having the hypothesis of, having the suspicion of MCC being a part of Indo-Pacific strategy. So I'll explain a bit on Indo-Pacific strategy. No, it has already been explained, but as per the definition, it says, under the Indo-Pacific strategy, the United States has increased its tempo and level of cooperation with allies and partners in the region. A strong rule-based architecture anchors the US vision for the Indo-Pacific region. See, the Indo-Pacific used by Trump means that India, the United States, and other major Asian democracies, especially Japan and Australia, will join in curbing China. See how specific it is. It is written there. In the Indo-Pacific strategy, it's already written. It's disclosed. Will join in curbing China in the new framework of growing Cold War influence. So we have to be very careful. And the ulterior motive of US. So actually ulterior motive, I don't want to say, but the thing is, I want to read this, page 5 of the US Indo-Pacific strategy. Today, Indo-Pacific nations face unprecedented challenges to their sovereignty, prosperity, and peace. The US National Security Strategy, released in December 2017, recognizes that the most consequential challenge to US and partner interest in the growing competition between free and repressive visions of the future international order. Authoritarian revisionist powers seek to advance their parochial interests of others' expense, not their expense. So the President Donald Trump specifically says, this entire region has emerged and is still emerging as a beautiful constellation of nations, each its own bright star, satellites to none, and each one a people, a culture, a way of life, and a home. He specifically refers to the home. It's US home. So I have stated the overall issues of MCC agreement. So intellectual property rights are violated by signing this. In the sense, the contractors, the geographical indications, the folklore, everything. Like, actually, I saw an article from the Honorable AG. So he says that it's not deprived, but it's extremely deprived. The intellectual property rights, land rights are deprived, and also the privacy rights. Actually, by now, at the moment, we don't have a privacy law. It's another subject I teach in Australia, Victoria University. So privacy law is not there. So what are we talking about, the privacy rights? So when all the details, all the data are disclosed to America, it will know more. We won't be having any privacy. So everything of us will be disclosed to America, and they will manipulate with our private data. Even by now, we are not having a privacy because of Google and all. So all of us are using Gmail accounts and all. So like, as conclusive remarks, what I feel is MCC seems to be having a hidden agenda on military allies. It is already endorsed, it is already proved by way of their acts. Therefore, MCC introduces new priorities in US foreign assistance, giving is an entirely separate but equally critical question from whether or not the MCC adheres to these priorities in practice. So, if we sign the MCC agreement, we will feel that COVID is a much better option.